I'm putting the last coat of paint on my latest project, a wooden toy dump truck. And this was a blast to build. I really enjoyed it. And I had a couple challenges, so stay tuned so you don't make the same mistakes I did. The reason I chose to build a dump truck was because I had so much fun playing with a toy Tonka truck when I was a little kid. And I wanted to build something that sort of reminded me of that, you know? So big tires, you know, just oversize everything a little bit. And this slant, like earth mover style dump truck is just iconic. So the wheels were definitely a little bit of a challenge for me. First off, I just cut out pucks of different sizes to find my scale. And then once I was happy with that, I took an angle finder and drew a couple different lines at different angles to see what angle I thought would look the best for the tread. This happens to be 15 degrees. And I knew I was going to do two halves that glued together. That way I could get that chevron design in the middle. So I built a sled here that was set up for 15-degree cut and put a dowel there to locate my wheel. And I took a measurement here for the spacing of the treads. That was the first problem, right? You know, you measure out the circumference of the diameter and then you lay it out evenly for X number of treads, right? 18 or whatever you want to do. But all the variations in the bandsaw and just everything else would always bump my spacing, so it wasn't absolutely perfect the way I would like it to be. I just went ahead with it anyways. Then the second problem was you have to make a right and left side to this. So the second problem I had, once I got all of my A sides done, I went on to my B side, the next one. And I just took this, flipped it around, and, you know, relined up my cut marks. They didn't line up at all. I'd get them both cut and, you know, the treads were off enough that it was just really irritating. What I ended up doing, and it worked out the best for me, was once I had my A side done, I would take the blank for the B side, and then I would take a pencil and just actually go in here and mark each tread. So then when I went into cut, I just had to remove that material in between the marks. And that really worked out very well for me. It was pretty fast, and you know, the treads lined up for the most part. One thing I really enjoyed about building this was just doing the detail work. I love it. It's a lot of fun, you know, putting these ribs in and, you know, adding the stacks for the mufflers and cutting the grill and all that stuff and the bumper. And then, you know, I put a little magnet here as a catch for the bed so that it doesn't, you know, flap open and jiggle around. And it's just, you know, take it away. You can do whatever you want with it. Put as much detail into it or minimal detail. Make it yours. I knew from the get-go I was going to paint it yellow because dump trucks are yellow, right? I chose the General Finishes milk paint. I've always had good luck with that stuff in the past. I was super excited to find out that they actually had a nice vibrant yellow for this project. And I wasn't really worried about wood, you know, types of wood to use. I used a lot of pine, I used some basswood, some plywood that I had laying around. Most of it was just scraps and small pieces I had laying around. When I painted this, I did prime the wood initially with the General Finishes primer because I wanted to make sure that the yellow would look nice and bright on it. So I did paint that up. With the tires, I primed up one half of it just to see if it would make a difference. It didn't make a difference for me, so I didn't prime the rest of the black stuff up. And yeah, looks good. I think there's probably 3 coats of yellow on it. Okay, this is the deal. This is a Christmas present for my nephew. My nephew's like 6. One of the problems I noticed with the tires specifically was after they were all done. Now, when I was chucking these up on the lathe, I made certain that I always had my A side that was getting a relief cut for the hubcap. The problem with that is, if you look at the tires, one goes in one direction, one goes in the other direction, and they should all go in the same direction, obviously. So I had to figure out what I was going to do, because if my nephew asks me why the tires don't line up, which he might, he's a smart kid, right? I'm going to have to lie to him, basically. So this is what I'm going to tell him. I came up with this idea. On a dump truck like this, the treads are flipped for high-speed cornering, right? I'm pretty sure that's going to buy me at least a couple years of second-level questioning. I don't know for a fact, but I believe it will. And I brought Buddy into this mix too, just to be on the safe side.